Uh, okay, kind of trying to hold this straight, but um, I mean, I had like 3 or 4 videos that I recorded, sort of like, I guess you could say, sort of ranting and raving about stuff for the last like few days. Um, but the reason I'm making this video, and I actually will be uploading this instead of just like kind of sitting there and then losing the sort of the desire to upload a video. Um, but the reason I'm making this video is because of a series of events. Um, Some that like sort of seemingly innocuous, but essentially boiled down to me running into or crossing paths with the one-eyed girl and her boyfriend when I was walking back from the local Jack in the Box. I'd gone out to get lunch after talking to my parents, and I was going to call my grandma afterwards. I was like, oh, I'll just step out for a little bit. I'm going to go grab some food, come back. I'll call you guys back. But then, walking back, she literally crosses in front of me, and well, not that close, but sort of several feet, probably a couple yards away from me, maybe more than that. But like her and the boyfriend, they cross. I see her, I hear her voice, and I got that sort of like that jolt, my heart when I see her and hear her, and it sort of like started this cascade of like all these memories and emotions and such. And I tried to play it off like, oh, I'm just walking, I don't recognize you, I'm just going, that sort of deal. But I get home, I'm thinking to myself like, WTF, like he's literally, if I before I gotten that far, if I had just taken a right and gone down around the perimeter of the campus, I wouldn't have seen or heard them, wouldn't have had this sort of stuff going down, and it's been affecting my mental emotional state. I mean, I talked with my dad about it, and he just kind of tried to tell me, like, I mean, he's in his mid to late 60s, and he's just like, oh, like, come on, dude, just like get over it, drop it, move on, find some other girl, etc. The sort of typical sort of advice think that somebody would give, especially at this point in my life. um but okay, it's been a rough few days. I mean, I tried to sort of power through it at doing, going to work and just, sort of, instead of taking breaks or sitting down or laying down because I know it's doing it just due to work. I had some mistakes I made today at work, so some stuff's going to be redone. Um, but needless to say, I've been distracted because of it. All the sort of emotions kind of welled up inside of that, but the big thing, I mean, that is a big thing, and I'll probably touch on it again. But I think the big thing I wanted to sort of discuss is the possibility of deleting this channel, because when I went and sort of a side effect of seeing her and him, going and looking them up again on Google, I discovered that on her Instagram, which she has. Apparently, and this is something I was kind of aware of before, but I wasn't overly concerned with it. But one of the folks who follows me on this channel, and I'm just gonna say his name, out. I'm not monetized, never been monetized, and I mean, heck, I suppose if YouTube was was to determine that this channel should be deleted, they'd be doing me a favor, I suppose. But it's Alexander Ehlers, aka Dictator Alexander, and he'd previously like found out her name somehow. I don't quite gather how he did it. It may have been from one of my videos, that one where I did mention her name, but I think I'd mentioned her name afterwards, sort of after he sort of instigated me to just say her name, just say her name. Her name is X, and so he started following her on like LinkedIn and eventually on Instagram, and like commenting on her, her posts and such, and liking them and so on. And you know understanding a bit of psychology, I would almost like be concerned, if you went full beta and tried to be sort of like her, I don't know, her henchman, or if he was trying to like impress her, or he was trying to get back at me for, like, I guess from his side of things, seeming to ignore him after a point. Um, because I, kind of pivoted and started focusing more on like my life and my work and my education, and I was kind of buried in that, the last year and a half, because it was a really stressful time. Even if you had taken that girl out of the picture and just, it would have been still been a very stressful time, and I had to focus on things. Um, but I guess it's the whole fear of like being doxxed essentially, and it's not like I'm sitting here having some audiovisual manifesto or that I've written something. I'm not someone like that, but um, just the whole idea of like a guy sitting down and sort of venting his emotions and talking about his life, and if it does happen to hit upon the intersexual dynamics aspect, aka I'm having issues with this girl I really like, and she got this d-bag boyfriend, and they're causing me problems, and I just broke up with the ex-girl, whatever, you know what I'm saying, like that kind of stuff. Like society will view that as like dangerous, deviant, concerning, etc. um, and some of it is just like the perception that men should be stoic and such, but at the same time it's kind of like a girl can sit there and be like going on for hours and hours and hours about her, like her ex-boyfriend who alpha widowed her, and how she can't live without him, and she could write songs about it that would go triple platinum and she become a multimillionaire or multi-billionaire. But if a guy sits down and makes a YouTube channel where he's talking about the problems in his life and how he's trying to work through them, utilizing, let's say, NoFap, or you know uh, studying of psychology, like self-help psychology or so, like it can be considered, I guess, almost like like the incels are treated. Oh, this guy's, he's gonna explode one of these days. He's gonna go off and he's gonna attack people, or whatever the case may be. But I've considered deleting the channel because of that. And to a certain extent, like I don't actually see all the benefits that I once did. I mean, to a certain extent, they are there, but I haven't really as much felt motivated to post, a video or a vlog, because I uh, I feel like I'm kind of stuck in a rut at this point in life, and it'd be like yet another video of me going like, oh, what am I living for? What's my purpose in life? Like I could, maybe a year and a half ago, I could look out and go say, okay, even if I don't get the girl, even if things are messed up in that aspect, and that's just the way it is, I gotta get my degree so I can get the job, so I can pay off my debt, so I can, et cetera, et cetera. And I could kind of see a path forward. But now it's kind of like, okay, what's the big purpose, the big thing that I'm going for? I mean, I've kind of come to the conclusion that the whole like getting married, having kids, even hell, even getting late is just not going to work out for me. And I was going through my life trying to find that waiting until marriage, virgin Muslim girl living in the West who also wasn't this, that, and the other, and also trying to build myself up to be quote unquote worthy of that. And then thinking I'd found that girl, and then losing out on her because of a sort of like limiting beliefs that I had, which like it's like I want to go back in time and slap myself, for behaving like that, and then go after that other girl, like go up to her, talk to her, call her back, etc., etc., do X, Y, Z, A, B, C, because you'll be a heck of a lot happier, and like you'll be miserable if you don't go and pursue that opportunity, and things of that nature, and kind of spending the next 3 to 4 years just sort of beating myself up about it. Um, being angry, and not even just being angry, but like attempting to sort of turn things around, and then realizing that no, that girl's a lost cause. She's gone. She's got her guy, and then learning all that stuff about the red pill dynamics, and the irony of life being that almost like if I had just become some morbidly obese, greasy, crass, dirtbag, I could have gotten the girl that I always wanted, the irony of all of that. And seeing via like her Instagram account that she's gone off on like vacations, had all this fun, etc., etc., and with him and things of that nature, and then like today I finally decided I'm deleting my Facebook account because I don't see any benefit in it. I feel like I have to disappear off the radar when it comes to that sort of circle of people, and also realizing that by and large, how like they'll say that like bro levels talk about rich, talk about these women, they have their backup options, and how in essence, the vast majority of those girls I was going to school with, even other than the one itis girl, is like they had the boyfriend, or they had the on again off again boyfriend. They were trying to get him to commit, and At best, I could just be that temporary stand-in, or the guy they would use to make the other guy so jealous that he would finally go, okay, fine, I'll commit, we'll get married, or whatever the heck the case may have been. And sort of realizing that by and large, it's like, I'm just in that category of guys who has to find something else to do with my life, because it's not going to work. And it's really, I mean, to say it's depressing, it's kind of an understatement, because, you have sort of like, I wish that if you were destined for that you just be born without any desires, period, because it would make it a heck of a lot easier to sort of live your life and go do your thing if you already were born knowing that your purpose was never to reproduce, never to have kids, never to raise a family, and you were just going to be alone. It would make my life a heck of a lot easier. I might actually be happy, or at least at peace with things. And to that end, it's sort of like I just wonder why in the heck I had to cross paths with her. Like, of all the people, it can be one of the handful of folks I got along with who'd be just visiting campus, and I could be like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" We'd have a 5-minute convo, and then we'd part ways and be like, "Hey, I ran into somebody who was a friend of mine back in college, and we're like, oh, how are you doing? What's up with you? How's life? And then we just go our separate ways. It couldn't have been like that. It had to be that one person who caused me the most turmoil in college. I mean, just so much of my struggle in life could be summed up, what happened with her, you know, struggle to fit in, to find a girl who, liked you for quote unquote who you are, um, who liked you for striving to fulfill these ideals and live by this, this code of conduct and be better, and, to chase excellence and so on. And who would sort of be your ride or die girl, who's shared your same values, had never been with another guy, etc., etc., etc. You know, and just see that, it's like the bad people always win. The bad guy will always win. The bad boy will always, have victory. And it's because of female nature, and because of, I mean, I could get into like talking about the gynocentric society, but then I'll just start sounding like one of those sort of nutters, lives out in the boondocks in a shed somewhere, and who are viewed as a real threat to society as a whole. And it's like, I think I've talked to my boss today, because I was having some mistakes I was making explaining the state of mind I'm in, and I mean, he at least was understanding about things, but it's sort of like, by and large, like, most people just, they don't care, and I think that's one of the biggest issues. But I really would like to hear Dark Magician's take on all of this stuff, and sort of what he, what he would think of, the idea of me deleting the channel, because I mean, I put up all these videos. Yeah, I do have 81 subscribers, and apparently some of my stuff has helped some people, but I'm also really concerned about, someone going full on, blue pill henchman, and essentially, I don't want to give anybody ideas, but I basically am by saying this, but essentially sending the link to this channel to that girl, and then her looking into it and going, because she's not gonna, like, she or any of her people, they're not gonna go watch, videos 1 through whatever, and go, oh wow, this guy, he was really struggling, and this is his human side. Oh, if he'd only talked to us and explain things to us, and maybe we would have understand. They just go, oh my god, what a creep, what a loser, what a psycho, what a douchebag, what a this, what a that. They're not gonna see, like, me, even those videos where I'd be like looking, practically, like, in a sense, looking into the mirror and going, and I got some real issues, and I really need to work on them, and I need to improve myself, and I need to change my ways of thinking about stuff, and I need to do the work, and oh my god, she really did like me, and I acted like a total douchebag, or whatever, I'm saying, like, they're not gonna see that side of me going, like, oh, I do need to work on myself. This is not me, like, railing against society. It's more like going and looking at myself in the mirror and going, you could have gotten better results if you'd done different things, or you could have gotten better results if you'd had a better belief set, or whatever the case may be, or you really need to examine what baggage you have from ABC stuff in the past, or whatever. They're not going to see that. They'll see what they want to see, which is that this guy's a psycho, a loser. We need to report him. Just whatever the case may be. And it's like, I mean, I feel justified in feeling the way I feel about stuff, and I'm not threatening anyone. I mean, I'm just kind of venting for the most part. Like I'm thinking about the one-itis girl, as I call it. And I even admit that it's one-itis. It's an unhealthy attachment. It's not something I'm happy with because it makes me miserable. But seeing her sort of move on with life after having caused me so much damn turmoil, mostly because she couldn't deal with that initial rejection, then my reaction to her getting with the other guy, and just the fact that I sort of reminded her of that time that somebody said no to her and she had to try to sort of eliminate me from the program. And it's sort of like, maybe if I were to live, 5, 10, 15 years into the future, be at that point, looking back, maybe I'd be over it. Maybe it would just be this 3-year period of my life that really sucked. Okay, whatever. But it's only been a year and a half. And I'm looking at things, I'm just like, okay, getting triggered back into that same set of memories because I ended up seeing them. It's going to be a tough set of days ahead because, sort of working my way through this. And, I don't really have that much of a life, to be honest with you. I wish I did. I had all these plans for after graduation. I'm going to go out and do all this stuff. I'm going to get involved with this martial art. I'm going to take fencing as a, calling, and I'm going to have lessons, and, I'm going to save up some money so I can go on a vacation or travel here or see this or that or, whatever the case may be. And then once I'm done doing that, okay, I'll get onto grad school and I'll, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, then of course, time passes, COVID happens, you got this big shutdown going on. Life's just not going to be the same after this. I honestly feel that. But yeah, I'm considering deleting the channel, kind of sum up, my rant or my rambling, because of that. And, also this event, like I don't see the reason to be holding on to any connections with anyone via Facebook, so I deleted my social media, considering deleting this channel because of possible repercussions. If someone wanted to really screw me over, I could put this up and then people get going through watching every single one of my freaking videos and just going sort of like looking at me as if I'm some freaking psycho. And so I'm sure because from a certain angle, what I call a feminine angle, there's this concept of the struggle that men have to go through, quote unquote the struggle, and it's sort of like trying to understand from quote unquote feminine perspective. The struggle is like really freaking hard for them to do. They'll go like, why can't he just get it? Why can't he just do X, Y, Z? It's like I wish it was that simple. I wish it was that simple and that easy to just be that guy who just walks into the room and knows what to say to that girl over there who he finds attractive, or what to say to that guy over there who's trying to cock block him or make him look bad or whatever, and to shut him up. And reality is you kind of gotta go through a lot of pain and suffering in order to get to that point. And for them to go watch my videos, if they did, it would be like, this is the process of me going from where I was to where I am now, and then possibly to where I would be in the future. And yeah, you might be able to, if you're willing to, like Dark Magician has, which I really appreciate, to follow me along this time, see this progression to where I'm at right now. But most people just don't really care. They just want to judge you, box you up, and cast you out. And definitely that group. And since they'll by default assume that her side of the conflict was the right one, and I'm just some loser creepo who needs to, I just need to find some girl and just get laid with that girl, as if my idealism, my dreams. I was never counted for anything. It was just all about, getting some. Anywho, Ash versus Ours, but it's a 20-minute mark. I'm going to stop recording and head back into the lab. It's been a really unproductive night, in many ways counterproductive, but I'm hoping tomorrow will be better. Maybe I'll just have to sleep this off. Um, anyways, see you folks around. Bye.